or maybe I'm not. They just said, let's just put it in front of the judge. The first step we need to do is not hold those caseworkers, which, by the way, are 20-year-old kids making decisions on life decisions for children. They shouldn't be held criminally neglected if they put a child back and something happens. They should probably be more educated, and maybe that's the problem that's there, and I'm not sure how to solve that, is how to hire the caseworkers to be able to assess the situations. But we still can't hold those people responsible if a man or a woman abuses a child, and if they've done everything that the system has asked them to do, and then the child goes back and the child's abused.
It's a very subjective system, subjective decision.
And unfortunately, the caseworkers are under criminal liability if they put a child back into a home and the child is hurt. If you're put in that situation, if I was put in that situation, I care about me first. I'm not going to jail over anybody if I can help it. Put the child in protective custody and let it go to a judge. But that's not in the best interest of the child.
You're suggesting we have a system where the enforcement employee of DCF is really that obviously they don't get charged with anything. So they're going to go for safety on their decision.
Right.
We'll give them sovereign immunity. Can't we do that?
Just like also in my case where I was arrested for domestic violence. If the police officer doesn't arrest me and just told me to go away, and I came back and hurt my wife, the police officer loses his job and is then possibly criminally charged. How can a police officer make that decision? He's not. He's going to arrest the guy and put him in jail.
I don't think he can.
Let the state attorney figure out whether they want to press charges or not.
Right. But in the meantime, you've got a man in jail, a person lying, and thousands of tax dollars spent on trying to figure out if someone's lying or not, just because a police officer don't go, you know what, you don't have any marks on you, I can't take this person to jail.
I'm not sure we know the problem. I'm not sure we know the answer yet.
You know, each situation is going to be different, but one of the first steps is probably not holding these people criminally negligent in their jobs.
Maybe what Representative McKeel just suggested of giving them immunity.
Let them actually do their jobs without fear of prosecution. They might get fired.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, does that put a child at risk, which we don't want to do that either.
Okay. Yes, Senator Dockery.
The other gentleman's issue, or at least the second portion of his issue, about the child is his, DNA shows it, and the child belonging to the husband of the mother, by default in law, is something that we can change, or we can try and change, and it will take legislation to do that. I think we just haven't caught up with the times in terms of the scientific methods that are out there. So that's maybe something we can look at. I don't serve on a Children and Families Committee. Does anybody here?
Well, actually, Senator Storms.
Senator Storms chairs it.
Senator Storms.
Chairs it in the Senate.
Senator Storms, is her folks still here? No.
Beth, yeah.
There you go. Guess what? Send the message.
Yeah, if I can just add on, I mean, you know, this particular issue is so emotionally charged that it also clouds the mind, I think, a lot of times, and it adds another layer of discomfort, mental taxation to the recipients, if you will, not good recipients in this particular case, and it's especially difficult on them and parents. And these are real thin line issues. It's like dancing on the head of a pin with them, but I think that if we begin to start peeling the onion back, we can get to the core. It may take some time. I beg your patience. It may take a year or two, because the wheels of progress in Tallahassee oftentimes, unfortunately, turn very slow. But if anyone else would like to add to that, I think that it's worth taking a pretty hard look at.
Isn't there a Jessica Lunsford Act rewrite bill?
I think we passed that legislation this year. The glitch, we've already passed that.
We did that last year.
But
I was wondering if there's something like that we could put.
The problem, I would tell you, our problem in Tallahassee is, I think, on Jessica Lunsford, and everybody, regardless whether you're elected or not, wants to protect the Jessica Lunsfords, as we should. That's our job. Problem is when we try to figure out how to resolve the issue, we go way overboard. And the fault that we did on, as I see it, on the Jessica Lunsford, as we said, everybody has to go through this idea. We don't want any sexual predators, and we're going to check you out because you got to go get fingerprints. It doesn't matter if you're a construction worker, if you're the bond attorney for the school. It doesn't matter. You're going to go get fingerprints. You're going to do this. When the simple answer could have been, if you employ anybody at the school, you have to go to the website of FDLE and see who's been convicted of a sex crime, and you're done.
Right.
But we couldn't do that. I mean, we set up a huge bureaucracy that was, but politically it made you feel a little bit better, so that's why we had to come back with a glitch bill. So it's frustrating from that standpoint. Let's stay in touch. I think you have something worthy, certainly. I think Representative McKeel, Representative Troutman, I would suggest to you that even though we haven't come up with the perfect answer, and we're going to get to you, ma'am, in just a moment, we really are, because you probably have the answer that we're struggling with as the lady in charge. But I would say stay in touch with us, because at the least we could do is at least run a bill to find out where your opposition is going to come from and how they're going to beat you up, and then maybe you re-strategize in another year or so. So let's stay in touch, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking the time, for being involved in that organization.